As dawn cracked over the horizon of Stalingrad on September 13, 1942, the air was filled not only with the acrid scent of burning buildings, but also with the faint yet unyielding hint of change. The city, a vital industrial hub on the Volga River, had transformed into a gruesome amphitheater where the fate of the world seemed to hang precariously in the balance. Here, amidst the cacophony of gunfire and the eerie symphony of falling bombs, an unexpected turn in one of World War II's most brutal battles was about to unfold. The battle for Stalingrad was not a sudden eruption, but a well-anticipated showdown in Hitler's blueprint for conquering the Soviet Union. The industrial city of Stalingrad was strategic not just for its factories, but for its position along the Volga River, providing a lifeline of resources essential for Soviet resilience. From the outset, Hitler aimed to cut this artery, bleed the Soviet Union of its resources, and capture the city that bore the name of his nemesis, Joseph Stalin, thus delivering a psychological blow to the Soviet spirit. Despite its significance, the initial German advance towards the city in the summer of 1942 misjudged the tenacity of the Soviet defense. Underestimating the Soviets would prove a fatal flaw in the Nazi strategy, as the Red Army, though initially outmatched, began to morph under pressure into an indomitable force fueled by a mix of desperation and patriotic fervor. As the German forces approached, Stalingrad prepared for siege. Workers turned soldiers and civilians dug defensive positions, even as factories continued to churn out munitions. The very streets and homes of Stalingrad were woven into the fabric of Soviet defense strategy, setting the stage for a conflict that would be characterized as much by the fighting spirit of its defenders as by the strategic maneuvers executed. The siege of Stalingrad unfolded like a grim ballet of destruction. German forces, under the command of Friedrich Paulus, employed a combination of aerial bombardments followed by armored blitzkrieg tactics, aiming to crush the Soviet defenses swiftly. Yet, what awaited them was a city transformed into a fortress, brimming with snipers, machine gun nests, and fighters ready to engage in brutal close combat. The urban environment of Stalingrad, with its intricate network of buildings and sewers, was cleverly utilized by the Soviet forces under Vasily Chuikov, turning each block and building into a death trap for the advancing Germans. Amidst this orchestrated chaos, one overlooked aspect of the battle was the use of the city's catacombs. Soviet troops, including many women and teenagers, used this underground labyrinth to move undetected behind enemy lines, setting ambushes and maintaining supply lines. This guerrilla warfare demoralized the German soldiers, unfamiliar and unprepared for fighting an invisible enemy that seemed to materialize out of thin air to strike. The tide turned during Operation Uranus in November 1942, when the Soviet forces launched a massive counter-offensive, encircling and trapping the German Sixth Army. This maneuver not only showcased Soviet strategic depth, but also marked the beginning of a relentless Russian winter offensive that would eventually drive the Nazis back across the Eastern Front. The capitulation of the German Sixth Army in February 1943 was not just a military defeat, but a catastrophic blow to Nazi ambitions in the East. The success of Stalingrad was a beacon of hope for the Allies and a turning point that marked the beginning of the end for Hitler's Third Reich. The city's defenders had not only stopped the Nazi advance, but had also irreversibly shifted the strategic initiative to the Soviets. The aftermath of Stalingrad was characterized by a Soviet offensive that redefined the boundaries on the Eastern Front. The Germans were pushed back, and the ground gained would set the stage for further Soviet advances, ultimately leading to the fall of Berlin in 1945. Moreover, the battle had a profound impact on military tactics, emphasizing the importance of urban warfare and psychological fortitude under siege conditions. Stalingrad was not merely a battle, it was a monumental clash that reshaped the contours of World War II. The Soviets' strategic masterstroke lay in their ability to adapt and endure, transforming their city from a strategic target into an unbreakable fortress.